Hello, this is the trade site Forex market preview and international economic data roadmap for the week beginning Sunday, the 27th of January, ending Friday, February 1st, already through the first month of the year. Here's the dollar index daily chart. We have gone nowhere for months here. We're sitting exactly where we were, essentially even back, well, certainly in August, but we weren't showing much extra movement in June or July either. So it's basically been an 8-month drought. For Forex, we did have some good winners this week, even though there wasn't a lot of movement. Let's look at the daily charts of the pairs, and then we'll talk about the intra-week action. We'll look at the data ahead this week. So here's the euro dollar, which is basically the inverse of the dollar index these days. Here's the pound cupping out. This is where we made the money mostly this week. A little move there and trying to break out as things go on with Brexit. Here's the Aussie dollar pair. Here's the euro yen was dead flat, but the pound yen obviously moved up just like the pound dollar did. The pound Swiss also moved up a bit this week, and the New Zealand dollar pair um, had a little bounce on Friday. In terms of 30-minute candles for the intra-week action, here's the euro dollar. High to low for the week here is only 130 pips. That's very bad. That's usually average daily range, and you can see the first 4 days of the week. We did have a U.S. bank holiday on Monday, but until Thursday, nothing happened at all. We were in like a 60 pip range for the whole first 3 days of the week. Here's the pound. This one's where we made our money for the week because we had more like 350 pips of range and some bigger movement after the Monday bank holiday. So a little bit better action there. All right. So with nothing to really say on the charts, and obviously Brexit being the main story, let's take a look at the economic data that's coming out this week. So Australia starts the week on a bank holiday. Japan has their meeting minutes from their last policy meeting. We got M3 money supply Monday morning out of Europe and private loans. CB leading index out of China. Trade balance out of New Zealand Monday night. NAB business confidence out of Australia. We're already into Tuesday. Swiss trade balance, Spanish unemployment rate, consumer confidence out of the U.S. here at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Retail sales out of Japan. We've got CPI out of Australia that night, already into Wednesday. So not much data to start the week, but it does pick up after this. Consumer confidence out of Japan at midnight Eastern Time Wednesday. French flash GDP, German consumer climate, French consumer spending. We got net lending to individuals out of the UK, Italian 10-year bond auction, German 10-year bond auction, ADP non-farm employment change here in the U.S., pending home sales here in the U.S., the weekly crude oil inventory number, and more importantly, we have a 2-day Fed meeting with the announcement on Wednesday at 2 p.m. and the press conference 30 minutes later. So that's going to hold us up. We'll be half-size Tuesday night going into Wednesday. We've got Bank of Japan's summary of opinions and preliminary industrial production, consumer confidence out of the UK, import prices and consumer credit, or private sector credit, sorry, out of Australia, manufacturing PMI out of China. Going into Thursday, Japan's housing starts, German retail sales, housing price index out of the UK, CPI out of France, Spain, Spanish flash GDP. We've got German unemployment change, Italian monthly unemployment rate, preliminary flash GDP out of Europe and the unemployment rate there, Italian preliminary GDP, a lot of GDP numbers. Challenger job cuts here in the U.S., GDP, RMPI, and IPPI out of Canada at 8:30 a.m. Thursday morning. Core PC price index, the employment cost index, personal income and spending, and the weekly initial and continuing jobless claims numbers an hour before the stock market opens here. On Thursday, Chicago PMI at 9:45, natty gas at 10:30. We've got the unemployment rate out of Japan that night, PPI out of Australia, Japan's manufacturing PMI, and China's manufacturing PMI numbers. And then going into Friday, we've got commodity prices, SECO consumer climate, retail sales, French government balance, budget balance, Spanish manufacturing PMI, along with Switzerland, Italy, France, Germany, and the broad European sector, and then the UK all in a row there. CPI flash estimate out of Europe. The unemployment rate here in the US will be half size ahead of Friday as well. Manufacturing PMI number out of Canada, then the US one. We've got revised University of Michigan sentiment, and then later in the day, the total vehicle sales number. So the data is all in the back half of the week. It starts out very slow. And we'll see what that means for Forex. Obviously, lately it hasn't meant much at all. Charts as usual, brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken the trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading week.